when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, to UFO Paranormal Radio and United Public Radio Network. And I am your host. My wonderful co-host is next to me. You're listening to or watching The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I'll just going to do a few housekeeping things, and then I pass it over to my amazing co-host, Dave. So I am Lorilei Potvin, a Canadian spiritual medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, and an RN. I'm also a host on the network of my own show, The Angel Rock, on Mondays from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Holy cow, we got a slew of guests coming up for y'all. I'm already booking into April. I told you I had a bunch, but over Christmas and New Year's, I'm not booking any guests because people want to be with their family. So if you guys have had enough of your holiday dinner and family and partying, and you need to sit back and relax, come and hang out with Dave and I over Christmas holidays into the new year on our Thursdays and at the Angel Rock. So speaking of that, I'm going to say it now. If anybody has any spooky ghost stories, the Sun Dragon or Kevin, one of our regular viewers, has already sent me some stories. We received a few over for Halloween and they were amazing. So please feel free to send them to David or myself. We'll tell you guys how to get a hold of us at the end of the show. Now, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe and tell all your friends about it. There's something for everybody on the network. We have a ton of new shows. We're streaming 7 days a week, multiple shows, and when we're not streaming live, the archive server is running from the last 25 years. It picks randomly different shows to stream, so there's always something for everybody here. Now, if you want to join in the conversation with the many people that are in the chat, we're going to shout out hi in just a minute. You can head over to either Facebook or YouTube under UFO Paranormal Radio. And you can also find on Dave's YouTube channel, The Spirit Experience with David Hanzel, or his group by the same name. I'm streaming to my Facebook profile under Lorilei Potvin. It's public. That reminded me, last week I streamed it to the wrong place. It should have been on Canada's Most Haunted. I don't think I've ever done that in all the years of producing, but it is on Canada's Most Haunted tonight. Also, what else was I going to say? You got me off track there for a sec, Dave, when I heard that. Anyways, what I was going to add, what's that?
I said, oops, I bumped my computer.
And so did I. I was like, oh, what did I do? Anyways, we're on TV tonight. We have our own TV channel for the network. It's on Roku, and it's called UFO Paranormal Radio. No, UFO Paranormal United Public Radio. How you find it is you sign into the channel store. See, you set me off my groove here, Dave. Oh my God, what happened? Anyways, you're going to go to the channel store and you're going to look for UFO space P as in paranormal. There's a drop-down menu. We're about the third or fourth one down. You're looking for UFO space paranormal and United Public Radio Network, and you can watch us there. I think I've remembered everything, and over to my amazing co-host here.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium at channel, a paranormal investigator at times, but you know what? I have not done it in so long, Lorilei. They're just paranormal investigating. I love going on them. I found out that there is also there's a Bigfoot Society in North Carolina here that does investigations. I just watched them. I was going to contact them. If anybody knows me, if anybody's been on the show or watched me enough, you know that I'm like the most skeptical medium that there ever was in the entire world. And not because I'm skeptical, but because I always question. I want to question everything because I want to know everything's perfect and valid and everything else. So I watched their Bigfoot channel for a while, and I was waiting for them to talk about red flags that I would consider red flags, and they didn't. They were pretty cool, normal people. So I thought I'm going to reach out to them and see if I can do that. Although I'm kind of afraid to do Bigfoot investigations in the
Why?
mountains, but not because of Bigfoot. Because of the bear. There's the bear.
Oh, yeah, but it depends what kind of bears, whether they're black, brown, or
black bears. Yeah, they're black bear, and they usually don't like people or anything.
Yeah, they don't. Or grizzlies, unless they're really hungry. You know what I was going to say? I don't think I had a chance to tell you this quickly. I ran into, we follow each other on Facebook, and she does resin like I do. She's local, and she was selling some molds I wanted. So I ran over. I remember last week after my show, I think I had to leave. So I did, and we ended up talking outside for an hour, and it was freezing. But anyway, she's a paranormal investigator.
Oh, cool.
And we were talking about a few different cases, and she goes, well, do you investigate? I said, no, I don't have a team to do it with. So she's supposed to be getting she sent me some pictures of her latest equipment and stuff. And she said, when she starts going out investigating that she'll let me know, and that I might be able to go along, and I'd be very happy about that, because I'd like to start getting back into that as well.
Oh, me too. You know what, even when I'm with people who are I love it because I don't get scared that much. I mean, a jump scares scare me. Trust me, I've gone on paranormal investigations and I have been frightened and I have jumped back. I know, but and you know, it's funny. And it really wasn't people who gave me the jump scares. It was literal spirits that gave me the jump scares. Remember I told you about, we were sitting at that, Brandy knows about it. She's not here right now, where there's like 5 of us in a room looking down the hallway at this maze of lights we had. The thing is, if a shadow goes by it blocks out the lights. And all of a sudden, all the lights started blocking out and just coming racing towards us. And it came right in the room. We all jumped back, and we have it all on film. We have it all on film, and it scared me at first. And of course, like I said, the funny thing was, me being a skeptic, everybody goes, oh, did you see that? And the first words out of my mouth was, are you sure it wasn't a bug? And they're all looking at me.
A bug.
They're like, David, give it up. And he was a freaking, something. I like,
something that big. It was a mutant bug, or it was a spirit. Walk the light out.
It was a dang big bug if it was a bug. But no, it was proof. But that's always my knee. See, everybody else's knee-jerk reaction to something is, it's a ghost, it's a spirit, it's a something. My knee-jerk reaction, even if it is a ghost or spirit, is, it's the ice cream man, it's a bug, it's a dream, So I just have an opposite knee-jerk reaction is all. But I really miss investigating. I really do.
Well, I've done stuff like not with equipment and stuff, just using intuitiveness. But you know what? This would be cool. I would love to. There's already a team in town here, but she has her own team. She's been doing it for a while. And I thought, you know what? I'm ready to start doing that. I know that I'm not living in my own house of horrors anymore, knock on wood. And I'm ready to start doing that and getting involved and checking it out, because our city, it has everything. And I know from you growing up in Wisconsin, you guys have a lot of stuff over there as well.
We should talk about one day, if maybe we can get this together, because you're not real far from Wisconsin, are you?
No, I'm 3.5 hours away from Duluth, Minnesota. But you go over the bridge for 3 minutes and you're in Superior, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Do you know where the Wisconsin Dells are?
Oh, yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Around the Dells area, there is a place there that's known. I'll look it up. It's super haunted. They have people there all the time. I was going to go there a long time. This was years ago. We were invited to go. I was invited to go up there. I couldn't make it, and it all fell. Long story short, it all fell through. So I never got to go. But I'd like to go up there one day. It's really cool. Cassine Lee. Well, first of all, hi everybody.
Let's say hi to everybody, because how about we start with your story, because it's kind of a cool story. Now, we recognize not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. It's being celebrated in the US right now. In Canada, it was about 6 weeks ago, but everybody knows about Black Friday. So hey, we're embracing Thanksgiving here. So let's say hi to everybody. We're going to see a lot of happy Thanksgivings. Yeah. So we got Heather Cooper says, awesome. I told her we'd be with her shortly. That's why. Jackie Lane says, hi, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. And then David says, hi, everyone. Nicole Thomas Ryan says, happy Thanksgiving from Cedar Island, North Carolina. And then Dave added a gobble, gobble. We've got Kathy Hanley Little. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys, and right back all of you. Now, Nicole Thomas Ryan says, I want equipment for Christmas. I want to investigate. And John Ross says,
Nicole lives by me. So Nicole will be doing that one day.
I know she said she did. We got Jonathan Keyworth here. He was on the Angel Rock Monday night. We spent 2 hours doing ITC. Well, not 2 hours. We talked about it, talked about the machines and experiences with these type of communication devices. But about the last hour we did or so. And then, that's why I told you about this, David, and I forgot. So this comment you need to see. I forgot the last part, so I'm glad you reminded me, Jonathan. So Jonathan asked us, I thought it was over Christmas. So please forgive me, Jonathan, because Dave and I went live on TikTok today. Jonathan asked us, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I know you're going to have to look at your schedule. He's got readings and stuff. It's his birthday next Wednesday. So he was wondering if we could go live on Facebook or TikTok or wherever and do some stuff together. It's his birthday.
Yeah. Oh, I know. What time?
I think in the evening he had said, and I apologize, Jonathan, because you told me that. I told you to remind me. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely, Jonathan. Actually, I have Wednesday night open because I go do my live. I do my live for TikTok from usually about 4 to 5:30, and then I just come back home. So I'm just sit on my butt.
Okay, yeah. Jonathan, I'm so glad because you can ask Dave. I did ask him, but I thought it was over Christmas and New Year's. I forgot about your birthday. How could I forget? So that's awesome. So it's a date, you guys. Next Wednesday, we'll probably post the details. I'm sure we will. I post on Facebook quickly today before Dave and I went live for an hour. Right, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it literally anywhere you want to. We'll figure out the details, but I can do it. So.
Okay. Let's finish saying hi, and then we'll get to your question, Case and Lee. Okay, so we got Kelly Hopkins here. Hi, Lorilei and David. Hi, Steve-O. I know he's in the background. And, I forgot Cason's in Sri Lanka. We are not celebrating here in Sri Lanka. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving. Nicole says, you want to read that, Dave? I'm just scrolling, so.
Nicole says, a new thing I've been doing is picking a location and then watching all the ghost hunter shows that go to that one location and see what they each experience. Yeah, I do. I do that. You know what else I do? If I can find a place that has some history, right when I'll find out a little bit of the history, and it's hard. I don't want to know the history because I want to be able to pick it up myself.
And the same what other people get. I don't like to see it sometimes if I know I'm going to go to a place. It's cool, though. It gives you an idea of what you might run into, especially if it's notoriously haunted. But
my favorite
as nothing.
Yeah. Now, see, as a medium, if I go to a location, and this is what I was doing, I'm going to go back to doing this. If I'm a medium and I'm going to a location with a group or something, obviously I'm going there because there's some kind of activity there. At that point, I don't want to know the stories. And the reason is because when I go in with a notebook and a pencil or a pen, and I start writing down stuff and that I hear. And then afterwards, I'll ask about the history and then compare it to my notes and see if I picked up anything from it. The worst thing is you don't pick up anything from it, which could mean one of two things. Either I suck or all the things that they were talking about aren't true anyway. But
there's that. Plus, I have seen people go, and as much as I love the guys from Paranormal Quest, and give all my favorite guys a shout out here, almost always they don't get anything at notoriously haunted places. Now, is it because they don't know what they're doing? No. I think they show you the real thing, because just because something's notoriously haunted, we got to remember that spirit is are not monkeys. They don't, can you imagine if you were in spirit and you chose to see Earthborn and people keep going, can you go touch that glowing light over there with my box? Okay. Can you do it again? Just do it one more time to prove that I'm here. You're here. I've done it already. I'm not a trained monkey.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, that thing bothers me. The thing that bothers me the most, and this is very well known about me, is I hate when people, what's the term we use for, when they instigate stuff with negativity. Like when they say, I don't like that. Provoking spirits. Because I'm like, if they're not talking to you now, why do you want to provoke them to talk to? I don't know. That's just
Well, it's
me.
not even
I just find it silly. I think maybe too. I bet maybe if they were like mediums or they were doing what we're doing, they would understand that no, these are things with feelings, especially if they are between worlds. They still have their feelings. So why would we want to be such a jerk?
I don't agree with provocation in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about, and I'm not, like, I'm not being judgmental, but my point is nothing wrong with asking again for validation. But when
Exactly.
I've seen people ask 3 and 4 and 5
5
times, and it's like, you know what, guys? They've already done it for you. They're not monkeys. The other guys I like, actually, they were live 2 nights in a row. They went to the Monroe House where Paranormal Nightmare, the Foreman brothers. So Josh went there Tuesday night, had to stay in overnight. Even the owner said, I don't suggest you stay overnight. He had some things happen, nothing too crazy, but they're going to do a whole episode. They'll put it out. And then Sean went the next night. Now, Sean is notoriously the hugest fraidy cat that there is. And when I first started watching them, I'm going, this is like a grown man. Like, why are you investigating if you're that afraid? And then now I know why. I mean, these guys go and help others that they experienced a severe haunting themselves as little kids. And it was Sean that was the victim of most of the activity. So he knows that sometimes these kind of things can happen. So he had some activity and then his battery died. So he had to, I don't know if he stayed overnight or not. I know Josh is the one, he's the littlest of the 3. There's Rocky, Sean, and Josh. Josh is the one that does the main clearings, everything. But the one thing I will say about Josh is, and you can tell they're brothers too, because if they're getting touched, like the 2 boys, say somebody's doing in the house, staying alone, the 2 brothers outside will say, yeah, go ahead and tap Josh, hit him on the head or knock his hat off, or like what brothers would do to tease one another. Yeah. But they all have each other's backs. But I will tell you now, unless they're faking it, I've watched it live. I don't think they're faking it with the ITC. The spirits know Josh's name. And they don't like when he comes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, spirits know names. Like I told you that one time where that spirit said my name. I had never been in that place before in my life, and that spirit said my name. So
you usually deal with negative stuff though, right? Like negative, dark stuff. They help families, and it's just intriguing that, again, like you say, they've never been there before, and you hear their names. So let's get, Steve-O says hello back. Jonathan says we could do next Wednesday whenever we want. So we'll figure that out. And Jonathan's thoughts are, because Jonathan does paranormal investigations too.
When I was talking about that, going with a blank slate. That's right. That's what I like to do.
I do too. And Nicole says, I don't like when they provoke. I think I said hi to Julie Jean Bassett. I think I did. I had her name highlighted. Julie, if I didn't, hello. She says, hi, Lorilei and everyone. And then, sorry, I had Nicole. We got Kaysen here. I'm going to go back to your question because you had a good question or a good comment there, Kaysen. He said, the best paranormal team on YouTube is Metaphysics. I think it's Metaphysics, in my opinion.
Metaphysics. Oh.
I think it's Metaphysics. I think that's what it is. He says they don't post much, but when they do it, they do it on another level than all other YouTube para channels. You know what, Kaysen, maybe you'll know who this is. Now, I don't know where they're from. I want to say Sri Lanka, but I could be wrong. It might, and I know there's no comparison, so please forgive me. It may be out of Thailand or Singapore, and I know they're not the same countries or anything like that. But he used to share his videos in my group Paranormal University, and some of the activity, and I wouldn't call it an exorcism per se, but the stuff he would deal with, I don't think this guy was faking it, but he had incredible stuff on camera that you wouldn't believe anybody would catch. Okay, so Kelly wants to share this. I'm going to go back to Kaysen's comment. What do you think, Dave?
Okay, Kelly Hopkins. Hi, Kelly is saying, speaking of spirits, something happened here today. I was busy doing dishes this afternoon. I was the only person in the house. A spirit had approached my left side and literally cleared his throat and called my name. I love when that happens. Were you frightened on that? I mean, I don't think you would be.
No, you were right, Dave. Sorry, I want to interrupt for a minute. You were right. It's metaphysics.
fitty chicks or something.
Psychics, I guess. Psychics. Sorry, I wanted to let you know you were right and I was wrong because I was wrong.
That's okay. Oh no, that's okay. I kind of thought there was something like that. I think I heard of it. Kelly, is a medium. Not every time, which it's funny, it doesn't happen every time. The majority of time when a male spirit comes in of a certain demeanor, it's always on my left. And the ones that come in on my left are usually always, I won't say they're not mean, they're stern. They would be stern. The gentlemen that are stern always come in on my left side. And the ones that come out in front of me or way to my right are usually like the ones on the right, males that on my right are usually just really fun, really nice people.
Okay, so I think we're going to need a bit more clarification. Have you guys encountered DMT spirits yet?
Now, I don't do DMT. I don't.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So if I think what you're referring to DMT, which is a substance our body makes on its own, but there are people who choose to use it. It would be classified as a hallucinogenic. I know they're using it under.
Our body makes its own DMT too.
Why? Pardon? I just
our
said.
Body makes it, oh yeah. Oh,
yeah, I started with that. Our bodies make it on our own, but there are people that take it to have a hallucinogenic effect. They are using it in medical settings along with other hallucinogenics. And what they're doing, they're finding when it's under a clinical setting and they're utilizing these drugs in managed doses, they are getting things that could be cleared, take years to clear with therapy that they can do in 1 or 2 sessions. Yeah. So DMT spirits, I'd need to know more about that because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I can't claim that I have. So just because I haven't done anything under DMT that I am aware of, unless it naturally occurred in me for some point, for some reason, it's kind of like ayahuasca. Is that what it's called when people go on these ayahuasca journeys and all that?
You have to be really careful with that.
And I'm all for it if they want to do it. I'm going to tell you guys this. I already had an NDE and I've already seen all the real stuff. So I don't want to hallucinate.
No, but the problem with ayahuasca is it was a very sacred ceremony. And I believe it was in South America where it originated. And now ayahuasca in quotations for people watching, clinics are popping up all over the place. And it's really I think it's really lost where it came from. And you can die from taking these substances. So if you are dealing with someone that thinks they know what they're doing, and I've run into people, I have seen places, not for myself, I'm not taking that kind of stuff. If you feel you need to, make sure you do your research.
And just do research.
And you got to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, because I know there's a Canadian psychic on YouTube, Josie Grouse, and she has a video. It's about a year or two ago, and she did an ayahuasca journey. I believe she went to a traditional shaman that did this in South America. She almost died, and she shares what she went through, not medically, but what happened to her on a spiritual level with almost dying and going through it. So you have to be so careful with that.
Well, did you see? Now I have nothing against it. I have no reason for it. If that makes sense. So but I have nothing.
What he means, because are you talking about if we've taken DMT and dealt with those spirits? Because you got to realize, okay, what my feelings are on DMT and ayahuasca and the spirits you would encounter if you've taken these drugs, those are your own, if you will, and it's a poor choice of words, but your own inner demons, your own things you're dealing with, your own things you're meant to clear. I have yet to ever hear, and I don't speak to every single person in the world, of a lasting DMT or ayahuasca spirit that somebody has encountered. And that's why if you're dealing with a shaman, if something like that occurs, say geographically, you're dealing with someone that would know what's involved with that.
What they're doing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only way I would ever do ayahuasca would be in the old ceremonial ones, and it would be with a shaman.
I would never do it.
That's if I ever did.
You know why?
I probably never will. I just don't need to.
You know why I would never do it? because you are guaranteed you are going to be vomiting, and I will do anything not to. Ever.
Yeah.
It is the worst experience. I cannot, like, I literally will do anything not to get sick. So I just hate the feeling. I hate it all. I know, knowing going in that was going to happen, that would be my worst thing. And you're doing it
and just people. I know. And if you think about it this way, something like those things that are going to make you ill and all that, in 2015, I had sepsis. So I lived through sepsis. It was, and if it was, I do not want to have, I don't ever want to experience even close to that anymore. So
if I hadn't been in the hospital, I would have died.
Yeah, but I was going to tell you that now, fun thing. Now, like I said, just I'm letting you guys know, if anybody does DMT or ayahuasca and all that, that's their thing. I really have no judgment, and I don't look down on people at all, because if that's what they need to bring them to the spiritual side of themselves, I'm all for it. Go for it. I just don't. I don't know much about it as far as the experience of it, and my guides do not say anything on it, and there's probably reasons for it, so they don't really give me anything. All they ever told me was, you don't need that. And I would say, okay, because when I was curious, I'd be like, nope, don't need it. I'm like, okay, I won't do it. But I couldn't.
No, ayahuasca, I feel, is being very materialized, or like so much. It's about the money now, and everybody wants to do ayahuasca because they're seeing, people that are famous, or it's really been monetized. The other thing they're doing too, like they're doing things like mushrooms, they're doing ketamine. I couldn't believe I saw a clinic here that they're doing this for people who are suffering pain and what have you in a clinical setting. And I've done some research in this area. It's very intriguing with the amount when it comes to PTSD, trauma, all of these things. They really are finding through the research, looking at it medically, that it's making huge strides, because, there's very little that they can really do to help with mental health. There really is.
Ketamine. What is ketamine for?
Ketamine is a horse tranquilizer. You can use it also for pain management and stuff, but it is a very strong type of, most of these things would be under the controlled, if you want, it's not really a narcotic in the way that you're thinking of pain medication, but it's a classified substance. So you would, so I would be careful. Ayahuasca, like I said, has ancient history and information, and again, it had its purposes, but the way it has been commercialized, that's the word I was looking for, and popping up all over. So Julie Jean Bassett says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Julie Jean Bassett actually is a shamanic practitioner. She just finished her course. She is incredible. She is amazing. I am definitely vouching for her. You guys check her out. I had a session with her, and I will be booking one probably around Christmas or the New Year further. It was life-changing for me. She's also helped. She's an animal communicator, and a major problem with my son's cat. By the way, Julie, she decided to remind my youngest son last night he wasn't paying attention. My cat pees on his bed when he's not paying enough attention to her. She hadn't done it in months, but Julie helped dramatically. So please check her out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, to get back to real quick. Let me go back up here. When we asked about the male on her left shoulder.
Kelly. Kelly. She gave us a comment though, so I was getting. I was getting to that. I don't like to lose the comments because people are.
I thought you were down before. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, so Kelly said, yes, I have that too. That is what I felt with this spirit. He was stern on the way he called my name, was in a stern tone. Scared the bejesus out of me, causing me to squeal and spray water and soap everywhere. I heard a chuckle and apology after that. Now, see, like I told you that. Now I get the same thing, Mail, with all that stuff. Now you heard the chuckle. Me and Lorilei were just talking about last week. I had a laughing spirit in my kitchen couple weeks ago now, and it was loud. And it literally, I had to take a second try. It was when clear audience that's objective, where it's outside your head, like everybody hears it and everything, that can be kind of unnerving at times, but I love it.
Okay, so let's get back into this because so Kason, I'm gonna go here with you, and Julie, I didn't even see her comment. She knows about ayahuasca. Please, Nate, it's Don Rius, I think you trained with. I was watching some of his videos. He's incredible, a shamanic practitioner who she trained with and just finished her course. But she also put stuff in ayahuasca about it here. But Kaysen says, well, it's meant to kill the ego for a while. I'm going to share something, just my thoughts. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. I had a mentor, because I used to hear from many of them, you need to banish the ego when you're in the spiritual world, or, spirituality. And she said, you really can't banish the ego. As hard as you're going to try, you can't. It's there for a reason. So when I go into the Akashic Records, for example, and I use it in all of my practice, I invite my ego and anybody I'm working with, their ego, to be a curious participant on the sideline. They're still included. We're actually almost treating it like a person, if you will. It's there for a reason. Your ego is there to keep you safe. Right? That's usually the one that tells you, no, Dave and I had a lot of readings today that were coming up with things. And it was almost like they were hearing, nope, don't do it. No, what if I don't have the money? What if I'm not good enough? That's your ego, right? Yeah. So it's there. You can't get rid of it. That's my thoughts. What do you think, Dave, about your ego?
I do. Absolutely. I am also one. People, I've heard the gamut of weird spiritual people have said, one, get rid of your chakras. Two,
oh God.
Here's how you get rid of your chakras. Don't go into the light because it's a trap on the in the reincarnation wheel. I find that hilarious. I mean, that's me personally, but I know about that. But that in the whole ego thing, we are here on. You need the ego for this experience. Now, I will say this, when I do mediumship readings and I go deep, especially like when I do crowds, I set my ego aside. Mm-hmm. So I'm aware that it's there. I just don't engage with it,
that's how she said that too. Basically, invite your ego to come along.
Oh, sure.
I'm saying her words. She said, invite your ego to come along to be a curious participant. So it's still there. You're setting it aside. It's on the sidelines, right? It's still there because that's who we are. But I want to clarify Kaysen's comment too, because I don't want to seem like we're coming down on you, and we're not. He said when he was speaking about ayahuasca and things like that, DMT, he said, well, it's meant to kill the ego for a while. And that's why I wanted to mention that. I mean, Dave, like you said, you can do it and I can do it. We don't kill the ego. We just sort of step aside from it.
I set it to the side. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I mean, I guess it's during the same, I understand what you mean, Kaysen, because I mean, some people, the only reason I can set mine aside, it did not happen overnight. This was something I had to work on. I had to learn. I had to go through a lot of crap in order to learn how to do that. So maybe that's just kind of a cheat way, I don't know. But I agree with Lorilei. You're not going to get rid of your ego, but you can be friends with your ego. There's plenty of times I will be starting a reading and I know when my ego pops in and I literally say to the left side, I hear you. We'll discuss it later.
You've
You've
acknowledged it. It no longer has to hear its voice for you to hear. Right?
Exactly. And that's what you just said. That's probably the most important thing. If you acknowledge your ego will shut up. It will. Because it's like a whiny baby. Yeah. It's full of fear. It's full of fear and it's full of hope and it's full of love.
But there's a reason why we have it. Just like if you, and being a nurse, medical, you hear that the appendix is there for no reason. The appendix is there for a reason. Maybe medicine hasn't discovered what the exact reason for it is. Maybe it was something that has since evolved and there's just a little piece left, but every single cell of our body is there for a reason when we are born, including the brain, the psyche, the whole bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Katrin said better word is subdue the ego, not kill. Actually, that's true. We weren't picking on you though. No, we know what you meant.
That's what I said. I didn't want to seem like we were coming down on you, Kaysen, because
we knew exactly. We know what you meant. We just go off on tangents, man. That's just how we do.
I thought it was about. No, that's why I saved it about the DMT, because I thought it was a good question. I've never been asked that before. And I like when people ask, well, we love that you guys are here. Without you guys, it'd just be me and Dave having our usual chats with nobody here. So you guys give us lots of food for thought and lots of things to talk about. And that's why we love y'all. So I'm going to remind people, because we're not quite there yet, but I'm going to do it now because we'll get all tied up in conversation.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with your hosts, myself, Lorilei Potvin, and my amazing co-host, David Hanzel, on 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana, on UFO Paranormal Radio and United Public Radio Network. And we're talking about all kinds of cool topics tonight. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I want to say though, Julie, I didn't know she put this comment, but I think it's got a lot of wise words. She said, yes, ayahuasca, you should do it with someone who knows what they are doing. The dosage is important and you need to be monitored while you are on the journey. Absolutely. I have been not done it. Just this is just what she's not done it before. This is just what she's been told.
Yeah.
And I agree, because I have had people that have gone into a trance state, and you kind of need an anchor for some people, depending on where they journey in a trance state. Not all the time. You don't need to be afraid. These are certain people that I've worked with. Maybe they just feel safer having somebody there. But I know even my Akashic Records practitioner has given us certain guidelines when we go into the records, for example, because it's not a building. It's like going into the universe, right? And you can get pretty deep in there.
You know what I thought about, though? For channeling, like voice channeling. Okay, voice channeling, that doesn't mean you change your voice and become a robot from another planet and talk for them. But people who literally go into the trance and they channel that way, in that instance, because I have been on that side and I have done that very little. It's not something I like to do that much, which actually I do like to do it a lot, but I'm waiting for the right moment to do it a lot. But at that moment, you really have that ego has to be completely off. And how I will explain that to you is through the Saint Germain channelings. That person,
I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Next level podcast.
Okay, I don't want to make fun of anybody. I don't want to downplay anybody or make fun of them, because we all have a little.
No, but he didn't. It was a guest he had on, and as soon as we both looked at this, we went. And anybody I have talked to, and we're not making fun of this gentleman in any way, shape, or form. This truly maybe was what he perceived and felt that he took on. But go ahead, Dave, tell it.
No, he had some good points, and I listened. And the only reason I know is I'm another person who has spoken to Saint Germain quite a bit, but not that way. So I'm not an expert by any way, but I can tell in channelings when somebody's ego sneaks in. And it's odd and it's hard to explain, but you can tell. And I think even people who couldn't tell, like I could tell, because Lorilei knew it. Everybody knew it. So
you know how you tell when you're listening to somebody that's coming from a place of ego. It's really simple. They're not coming from a place of love. They're not coming from a place of service to others rather than service to self. And especially if they're channeling the other side. This is how we knew that this gentleman had to be coming from
that. Yeah, that, and when you tell people that they must do this in order to do this, and then when I sense any fear in a channel, if I sense any fear based anything in a channel, I know that's your ego, dude.
No, where I was going with this was when you're channeling a higher vibrational spirit, they would be what we would call back home or source, whatever you want to call it. There is nothing but love on that side. And what he was talking about was Saint Germain. For those of you who haven't heard of him, he is an ascended master. You can work with the violet flame. He's an incredible source.
I love Saint Germain. Yeah.
So what he was talking about was he was channeling Saint Germain, and Saint Germain was hanging out in this special private place up in, let's just call it.
Yeah, he humanized it.
Yeah. And the host said, well, like, where do they go? Like, did they go to a bar or something? He goes, yeah, it was kind of like a bar. And he was there with other higher ascended masters. And of course, I'm not telling you exactly like this gentleman was sharing it, but this is the gist of it. And he said Saint Germain was off by himself, and a group of the highest ascended masters were all together at a table. Let's call it a bar, he said. And they were basically gossiping and talking badly about Saint Germain. that wouldn't happen in a
that wouldn't happen. There's emotions don't exist.
Gazillion years.
Yeah.
Gazillion years.
He kind of left it. Julie agrees with us. Julie, yeah, I know you know that, because if Julie says that she did voice channeling too, you have to put the ego aside. You can literally, when you are in voice
David
channel,
jumps all over me, and then I can't find it.
I'm sorry. I saw it and I was like, no, she's absolutely right.
David gets all excited here.
when you do voice channel, if I'm doing voice channel, if I'm in the least coming out of that trance, I can feel that ego. I'm like, oh no, I'm not there. I lost it. I know it at that moment. The moment I feel that ego, I'm like, I lost. When
I know I'm channeling, and I don't do trance channeling, I was advised against it with living in the previous home that I did. And so I'm really feeling the calling. So I swear to God, I was thinking about this just before we went live, and I'm fascinated by channels. But when I am channeling, not in a trance state, and those of you that have had a private reading with me will know I will start talking faster and faster and faster and faster, if that's even possible. And then I start to say words that I normally would never say. Like it just starts coming faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. I find there's other people that do that, but trance channeling is amazing to watch. Marina Jacobi, who claims she channels ET, and she's a fascinating lady. Her voice doesn't change. She doesn't go into a trance.
No,
that what she answers, she has no knowledge about what she answers some of the questions. It's fascinating to watch her.
I usually don't have a lot. Now, I have actually quite a few TikToks where there was, I won't say full channeling, but it was literally the energy was there, because I've answered questions. My TikTok got really, really popular off a viral TikTok I did that literally was almost, because I did not know the answer. I wasn't sure the answer, and they're like, just make the video, just go. And I was like, that just all flew into my head.
I'm gonna say though, like today, for example, readings, some of the older decks I picked didn't have a message, like it was just a picture or one word, and I'm literally saying to spirit, what am I supposed to do with this? And it's like, just trust. And so you're right, you do kind of just step out of the way, and it just comes. And this is right, Julie, when you're channeling, you usually can't remember half of what you said. So Kaysen said, I saw some of his, sorry dude, that's not flying. And il y a personne qui parle français, c'est moi ici. So this person's fishing for readings. So we're just going to get rid of him, guys. So just ignore him. I'm going to delete this right now.
Oh, that's right. You speak French. I forgot. I was like, I don't know every word there.
What's happening? Is she speaking the words of the devil coming out of her mouth now? I'm not calling French that. I'm just saying all of a sudden I'm not speaking English.
You weren't speaking French. You were possessed. That's we're gonna, if anybody shares this video, just put in the description #podcast host gets possessed by French man.
Yes. Okay. I always get his name wrong. Thank you, Julie. So Julie trained with Alberto Villotto and his team. Check him out. He had a 3-day free webinar before his next training session, and I was watching. He's fascinating. And thanks to Julie, I knew some of the things he was talking about when he was using a feather like a sword and whatever. So he was really fascinating. I learned a lot from him. And so Heather's still talking about Kelly's ghost. She goes, I would leave the dishes, a vacuum cleaner, and the ironing out for him to do. She's talking about Kelly's ghost that popped in and cleared his throat, said hi. And Julie says, I send him over when he's done at your place. What are you kidding? Are you kidding? Kelly, you better be sending him to me in Dave's house.
Yeah. I got 4 cats. You can find me a ghost. I swear to God, half the time, there's nights here where it's just like crazy. It's really kind of crazy, actually.
Okay.
I've had a couple times where it was crazy. And I thought to myself, all right, you know what? If you can be in my house and do this, and you can do my damn dishes, because I
heard of somebody that had a haunting like that. And it was,
I want a haunting like that.
They went and would put their laundry. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. I have no idea why. You better not. Well, if you're here to do the dishes, great. But I'm getting, yeah, right. I remember it was on Jason Bland's show, Paranormal Soup, and it was one of his guests, and he heard us. He went to a haunting where I don't know if he was a medium or what, but it seemed like it was a very grandmotherly, caring little old lady. And he would go to work and leave his dishes out and stuff, or like get his laundry, he'd pile it on his bed and he'd come home and his laundry would be put away. It's the only time I ever heard of it. And I think some of the dishes too.
I want that. Oh, let's quick do Leona Mick.
Oh, okay, because Nicole asked us a question here, but you want me to go to Leona?
Okay, let's do those two. Okay, let's do
Okay, well, that'll take longer. I'll go to Leona. Okay, you want to do Leona?
Leona said, would love some healing and prayers, please, in the hospital in the morning, not liking what my gut is telling me. Absolutely. Healings and prayers are sent your way. You're going to be okay.
You will be.
Yeah.
You will be.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I get it. I'm not saying that you're fine now or anything like that. You are. There's something wrong, but you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just so you know, it was real strong. Real strong in me.
Nicole's asking a really good question. She said, how does ego play into skepticism? Mm-hmm. And you're a skeptic much more than me, Dave. So I'm going to let you start to answer and I'll chime in.
Ego is skepticism. It is literally skepticism. It's when I watch things, I don't watch it from my spiritual side. I watch it from especially the ones like on YouTube. I watch it as Dave. You know why? Because when I catch evidence, I have to remember this. Everybody else watching it isn't watching it as a medium. They're not watching it like that. They're watching it as a normal person. So literally what I do is I step in as the normal person. What would something have to prove to me if I didn't know anything and I didn't know there were ghosts and I didn't know there was life after death? If I didn't know any of this, what would I need to have me prove that? That's why I go in with that. So I'm going to say that skepticism is ego. It really is. If you can drop your ego, you wouldn't be skeptic about most things.
I agree. I also forgot I highlighted her. Hi, Judy Thompson. She was popping in. She said hi to both of us. I'm going to agree with that, but I'm also going to say as human beings and how we have been raised and where we have been raised, because if we were raised completely differently, meaning meditation was normal, we knew all the things that we talk about and much more, we'd been raised all about this, I think there would be a lot less skepticism. But we also have to remember that we live in the human world, and there's also AI and technology, and with the technology that's available nowadays, I think we have to put our human brains on when looking at a lot of the paranormal, because you do have to ask these questions. And when there isn't an answer after you've exhausted all questions, that's when you can consider putting it in the paranormal category.
Exactly. And you know what? You made a really good point a minute ago. And the point was that you said if you were raised different, like if we were raised with meditation, and all that stuff, people wouldn't need skeptical. And you know what else we wouldn't need? We wouldn't need people to fake stuff.
That's right.
Because there would be no point to it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I think that's what the main thing is, I guess. Speaking of AI.
Okay. Let's see if we have any more questions, comments.
See if there's another question first.
Oh, we got lots. Hi, Shannon Casey. Well, you guys, David's got this awesome story that he did. And I go, remember, it's not Thanksgiving everywhere. But you know what?
I'm just going to tell you. Okay, but this has to do with AI. Yeah, but this has to do with AI as well. Now, AI is is it going to cause some problems in this world? It will for a little bit. But listen, AI is not a bad thing. It is something that was going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. I think it's happened in almost every race, whatever, as progression. But we as a person, when it comes to AI, that's where the ego is going to be of use to you. Okay, because the ego can be useful. The ego tells you don't run out in front of that car because you'll get killed. Your spiritual side would say, who cares? I'm just going to go home anyway. But your ego says, don't run out there. Mm-hmm. Your ego says, don't put your hand on that stove the second time because remember, it was hot the first time. And I mean, stuff like that. So your ego is good for that. But the ego is going to help us be a little bit more skeptical about the AI in the beginning. I think there's times where I think it's going to be useful. I think we're in the playing stages right now is what I'm feeling. that it's like a playground now. And I think there's danger to it. But if you use it the right way, it's really quite helpful, I think.
Those are the operative words. And unfortunately, human nature and where we are at, because you're right, it's coming whether we like it or not. But the problem is, just as we were talking about ayahuasca, was a beautiful thing being handled in the proper hands in the proper situation. There are people out there, and we live in a duality, but there are people out there that are going to utilize it for nefarious reasons. But
exactly,
could have been, the internet is the same thing. Does it mean the internet's a bad thing? It's a tool. AI is a tool. It depends on you who's hearing this and how you choose to use it. And should you use it in service to others or in other ways to help others, including yourself at times if you need to, it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
But no, it doesn't. And nothing has to be a bad thing. And people make it a bad thing. Yeah. And like I said, skepticism is okay. I think healthy skepticism is great. I think everybody should have a dose of healthy skepticism, because we know, remember the group that we hate so much that we were in?
How many of Voldemort?
Yeah. We were in a very terrible Facebook group, but that's how we met
each other, and we made some good friends out of that place. So some positives came out of it.
That group was grooming. I'm going to say grooming. She was grooming spiritual people to be literally fake, teaching spiritual people, how do you do a reading when you don't know anything? How do you do a cold read? How do you do stuff like, So it was terrible. So skepticism is good. And the reason that I did not lose my ego in my skepticism, I'm not in that group anymore. And I never fell for any of that crap. So I'm going to say, thanks, ego, you little son of a bee. But, it works. It works sometimes. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I was playing with this AI I use on my phone. I use it for corrections and all that. And sometimes I'll plug in all kinds of stuff to see what's happening. It's for fun. I'll make pictures with it. They go with my blog stuff.
Your picture on your website is so beautiful.
Yeah, and the picture on my website I did with AI, and I had to plug in a whole lot of things and adjust it to get the AI character to actually resemble me. And I needed it to resemble me.
You are so talented at a lot of these things. Like, guys, I'm pretty tech savvy, but Dave, I did an intro for a show, and it was like, and David never said this to me, but I know from looking at the one we have now versus the one I did, it was like someone in kindergarten made our intro versus what Dave did. Dave did all of it. He did such a great job.
That's all I can do, though. I'm not tech savvy otherwise. I know how to do a few things. But anyway, so since it's Thanksgiving where I am, and Lorilei kindly reminded me that the world does not revolve around me. I
just said, remember, it's not Thanksgiving everywhere.
Actually, those were my words. She said, I want you to remind you that not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. I thought to myself, oh, that's true. No, yeah. That's true. Yeah. But I don't, what's funny? I don't celebrate it either. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, not because of the holiday thing, but like the family thing, I don't really care about. I love my family and all, but it's the meal and all that. I don't eat meat, and I don't care if people eat meat. You do what you need to do. I just don't. And I don't eat meat. And if I do eat meat, I would get extremely ill. So I have nothing to do with it. But I asked AI.
Can I stop you for 1 second? I want to add one thing, and people take it if it resonates, and if it doesn't, that's okay. To me, Thanksgiving isn't as big a thing in Canada as it is in the U.S. And I wish we celebrated with our brothers and sisters in the U.S. because then we'd know when Thanksgiving is. It changes every year in Canada. But the thing is, right? I don't think Thanksgiving is a big day either, and this is why. Because I believe we should spend every day being thankful for what we are. Same thing with Valentine's Day. I don't expect a big rigmarole, nor do I want someone to do that. Because to me, if you love someone, you should tell them every day, because tomorrow's not promised.
Nope. And you know what, you guys? Listen, if there's a certain holiday you like, celebrate it every damn day.
I love Halloween. I love Christmas.
Because people always get at the Halloween, oh, Davey, you're excited about Halloween? I'm like, my life is Halloween. Yes. So and I'm happy with it. So I'm totally cool with that. But So I asked my AI to write me a Thanksgiving horror story having to do with a turkey and me, the vegetarian, or I think it put me as a vegetarian though. But I haven't read this whole thing, but when I started to read it, I'm like, oh my God, it's like the AI kind of knew me in a way. So that was kind of scary in that sense. But here you go.
Here because the last one AI wrote, was that one for Halloween?
Yeah.
That was awesome. So read it, Dave.
Yeah. If you watch our Halloween episode, I had AI write a story about me and Lorilei doing a podcast in a haunted place.
It was awesome.
And it was good. Mm-hmm. All right. So here is drum. If we had background music, I'd give it to you, but you have to hum to yourself. All right. So the title of the story is The Blood Feathers, a Thanksgiving Nightmare. I know. All right. It's not too long. Let me swallow, and here we go.
It doesn't matter how long it is. You took the time to write it, so.
The town of Harvest Hollow had a dark tradition. Each Thanksgiving, the townsfolk would gather in the public square for a grand feast. As was customary, a turkey slaughter was the main event. This annual ritual of horror was viewed by the townsfolk as a mere tradition, but this year the turkeys had an avenger among them. His name was David. Yay, me! A vegetarian newcomer with a keen ability to connect with animals at an empathic level. I do that, and AI does not know that. So
I think your phone's listening to you.
I think so too. Besides that, all right, here we go. David had befriended Tom, the largest turkey who was earmarked to be the centerpiece of the town's ghastly Thanksgiving. Tom, however, was far from ordinary, and with his newfound ally, he rallied his fellow turkeys, guiding them in a desperate bid for survival. Haunted by the turkey's impending fate, David delved into ancient lore where he stumbled upon a dark tale of vengeance. According to the legend, the spirits of the slaughtered turkeys could be invoked for a night of bloody revenge if the correct incantations were uttered.
Maybe purge.
I was all over this shit. I'm like, get them, turkeys, get them. Okay. So under the spectral glow of a full moon, David, surrounded by hundreds of turkeys, could you imagine that, began the incantation. No. As the final words echoed through the cold night, an eerie silence fell over them. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and the ethereal forms of slaughtered turkeys rose, their spectral feathers glinting ominously in the moonlight.
Don't be turkeys.
No. Thanksgiving Day arrived, and as the townsfolk gathered in the square, the spectral turkeys descended upon them. The turkeys, led by David and Tom, swept through the crowd, their ghastly forms instilling horror and dread. The people, initially frozen in fear, began to scream as the turkeys lunged, chasing them through the streets. The spectral turkeys were not just spooky apparitions. They had physical presence, and they allowed them to attack the townsfolk. You go, turkey! Pecking and clawing with ghostly talons that left real bloody scratches. The air was filled with the panic screams and the vengeful gobbling of the turkeys. The turkeys pursued the townsfolk relentlessly, driving them from Harvest Hollow. By sunrise, the town was deserted, save for the turkey, who now claimed it as their own. The townsfolk were forever banished from their homes, forcing to live on the outskirts of their once beloved town. Each Thanksgiving, they would leave offerings of corn and vegetables at the town's borders, a desperate plea for the turkey's mercy. The turkeys would accept these peace offerings, their spectral forms fading until the next Thanksgiving. Their revenge served their spirits finally at peace. Harvest Hollow became a grim reminder of the consequences of unchecked tradition, forever haunted by the blood feathers of turkeys past. The tale of the turkey's revenge was retold every Thanksgiving, a chilling cautionary tale that will forever change the way this holiday was celebrated. I love that.
That was awesome. Julie said, go turkeys go, right around the time you did just before. And she says, reminds me of the videos with animals with arms and swords.
Oh, yeah, right? Oh, yeah. There is.
Good.
That was a good. I'm going to keep it now. That's going to be my Thanksgiving story now. I'm going to tell that around the Thanksgiving table. The time that I invoked zombie turkeys to come up and kill people.
She says she loves it. I kept seeing zombie turkeys at first, but now I know it is spectral turkeys.
Yeah,
Think about it. You know what that made me think of? Go ahead and say what you're going to say. Sorry.
And AI covered its butt. It said spectral turkeys, but they said they weren't not just like any spectral turkeys. They actually had physicality to them because they wanted to make sure that they could eat people or kill them or do whatever they did.
No, you know what? What was I going to say? That reminded me of. I lost my train of thought there for a sec. Oh, I know. As you were reading that, now I've never heard of this and I've never seen this, and I don't think you have. You might share it with me. Now, I know you've mentioned that animals will speak to you if they've been hit by a car or something on the side of the road, but I have never run into a haunting with animals causing a problem. Have you? Like real domesticated animals or like turkeys or something? Like if it's something cryptid, yeah, I've heard of that, but I've never heard of an animal.
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to give you what my theory or my answer would be to that is ghosts still have an ego.
That's what it is. Gotcha.
And animals move on. Animals aren't okay. Animals are not separate from us as far as they're better than us and we're not better than them. I mean, or down here, we were told that and somebody ran amok with that crap. But on the other side, every spirit is equal, every one. So, but if you're in between here, you would probably still have some of your ego. That would be my explanation for ghosts is they didn't want to go all the way over. Like when people ask me, so when people ask me, David, do demons exist on the other side? And I say, no. I'm not lying because if you're all the way over, like where I went, you're coming from the home that is literally love. It is love. There aren't any demons in there. There isn't any negativity in there. Between those places are other places and dimensions where ego and all that exists. So yes, there would be negative things outside of here. And if you were a ghost, I would assume you would have your ego a little bit because you would have emotions.
I agree 100%. No, I'm going to read these next two comments. So Nicole said we had a ghost cat for a while, but I think she's gone. We did have, when we moved in here, my eldest can see spiritists. Both of them can, and they can communicate with animals and what have you. My eldest, when he came to this newer place we're at since our old home, he said to me, Mom, do you know you got a little black cat around here? And sometimes he'll pop in, sometimes he won't. When I'm talking haunting, I'm talking about like people going to haunted barns and say you have this rabid horse or animal and coming to bother you. You never hear of that. But Julie has a good point, which goes hand in hand with what you said, David. She said animals don't have egos. They move on.
That's also. Thank you for adding that. I left that out. Animals don't do ego.
And she said they will come to visit us after they cross over. That's what I was thinking about. Absolutely. I have seen pictures. I've seen FLIR of animals in spirit that were beloved pets. I've taken a picture off of a screen when Debbie Schmoley, so that was her previous name, Schmoley pops in here from time to time. Years ago, I was talking to her, and I've told this story numerous times. And I asked her, she used to have a cat laying on the pillow beside her because I could see it and see through it. She's going, take a picture, take a picture. No, it didn't look like much to me. She has the pictures and she's positive her other cat that had passed, I think a year beyond the one I was seeing, is behind it. So they do. I agree. They come and visit.
Yeah, they always do.
Oh, Nicole says she would unroll the toilet paper, the ghost kitty.
Oh, I know, right? I know that now. If you guys, and I'll give you guys a thing, and some of the other mediums and might agree with me on this. I always tell people when you do see stuff out of the corner of your eye constantly, if you're not crazy, it means you're a medium. So there's a very fine line, but it is. I'm one of those people. When I started talking to animals years ago, I started seeing the shadows running across the floor all the time. And I still do to this. I mean, I don't think I have a day that doesn't go by where I walk from here to there and I'm like, what was that?
Oh my God. And if I'm tired, like I literally, especially my old house, could see things and I was not hallucinating, like really exhausted. Because there were days, sometimes I only got like an hour's sleep every 2 days or something. I would see things like almost like these bugs coming at me. They were black, like on the corner of my eye, and you look, there's nothing there. But I can tell you every single freaking day, I see stuff out of the corner of my eye all the time. And it's not negative necessarily.
Do you want to hear something? You want to hear something interesting about animals real quick? I had heard this, and I want to hear it more. because I had asked a question of my guides about mean animals or animals who attacked or killed people.
See, that's where I was going with this, and we got all excited about it, because there have been animals that have been rabid, or they've just been, I don't think an animal necessarily is ever mean. Do you think there's an animal that's mean if it's not sick? Like it's either killing to eat?
Well, it's
or
not.
fear?
Well, there's a catch-22 to that question.
Okay.
And here's what the catch-22 is. Animals don't know mean.
Oh, there we go, back to your brilliance. And I don't say that sarcastically, because David has said this, and I think it's brilliant, depending who you are, where you come from. Just because we're looking at it as mean, it may not be mean in their world.
Mean to them. Yeah. It's kind of like to an animal, what we would seem is like, if we see, like when we see our cat kill a mouse and bring it to our, like me, I would be horrified. I'm like, oh my God, you killed something. But to a cat, it's like, no, this is what we do.
That's the highest honor.
Yeah. So yeah, it's what, and that's what they do.
Speaking of that, I got to add this quickly. I've had every kind of animal practically, and my cat one time, my hamster was missing when I was living at my parents'. I'd moved back while I was in university. I brought my cat with me, and we're looking for the hamster everywhere. Don't I wake up the next morning and the damn hamster's head is on my chest, and I scream, and I was like, how could you? And I didn't know what I know now. Like, as horrible as that is, that was such an honor that my cat was bringing food home. I'm not going to eat it, but I got goosebumps talking about it.
Julia wrote, it depends on their owners. Animals that have been trained to be mean. I know what you mean. It's hard to explain.
We got to read the whole comment, Dave, for people listening. Sorry to be a pain.
I'm sorry. Depends on their owners. Animals that have been trained to be mean and fight are aggressive. And also animals that are decent to themselves. Now, yeah, I mean it this way. This is really hard to put it. Animals don't experience are mean. They were like, you had the perfect word, Julie, my friend. You said they were trained to be aggressive towards, and that's all it is. They're not looking at somebody going, I'm going to do something to that person on purpose.
Because I want to hurt them.
I want to hurt them. Yeah. It's like, this came in by instinct. I'm supposed to attack it because it doesn't fit in with all this other stuff. That's all they're doing. Now, I do know this. There are certain domestic animals, though, even though they have no ego or nothing, they go straight over. Some of them do. It's not like our life review, but some of them do certain reviews to see how they fared as that species with that family. But it's just like ours, where it's not judgmental and they don't look at it in emotional
experience.
Yeah, emotional wise.
So Shannon says, I'm pretty sure my cat has an ego. She says, because he can be a real D blank CK. She said at times.
You are preaching to the choir, because if any animal would have an ego, it would be a freaking house cat. I swear to God. They would.
What about that werewolf kitty you sent me, though? Oh my gosh. I want one. I didn't even see it. And I'm going, I want one.
If I ever see a werewolf kitty that needs a home, my butt's going to get it.
Again?
It's like Loki. It's almost sounded like Loki, but it's Loki or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Julia agreed too. She said, yes, they all have their life review. I knew that because I had, Julie, when I had my NDE, when I did my review of this life, I also watched this whole scenario on animals and their feelings and how they were treated. And I went through some of the stuff they did just so I would know this information. It was really odd. And sometimes I sit here to this day and I'm like, there's some stuff they showed me that I said, I still don't understand why they showed me that, but I know it'll be unlocked one day. So I'm just letting it be.
Okay, I'm going to read this comment from Nicole Thomas, Ryan, then I'll go back a bit, because dogs have just cats have servants. And I would agree.
That's true.
Now, there is a comedian on the Dry Bar Comedy. He's got a really odd name. I'm trying to find it. I just rewatched it. Apparently, it went viral. And he's talking about his cat, Jessica. I'll find it for you guys. But oh my God, if you guys have not seen this, you will pee yourself laughing if you have a cat. She was 22 pounds and they put Jessica on a diet and it went viral because of what happened. I am telling you, this is one of the funniest. Oh, Zoltar Kazas, Kasszas. If you get a chance, look it up. Dry Bar Comedy. All you have to do is even just put Jessica the cat. It will come up. It's about a 6-minute comedy routine, and exactly what what Nicole's talking about. Dogs have masters, cats have servants. Oh, hi Ken Stockley, he's here. He said I think he meant to say I've even heard bugs have life review. I think everything does, because everything's
I think I know with there are not all species, but there is because we have our higher self, but we also have an oversoul. And the oversoul is like, there could be like 10 of us that belong to the oversoul. I know that I don't want to go down that rabbit hole yet because we'll run out of time, but there's an oversoul of everything too. I do know, I don't know how to even explain that stuff. I don't know. I don't understand it either. And they've tried to tell me stuff and my brain will explode.
I'm going to read Julie's comment. She says,
there's like there's a hive mind for certain insects.
I've heard
they just come here and they're like the mechanics of here. They are a soul and they do have awareness. They don't necessarily have feelings or pain or anything, but they have awareness and they're of the hive mind. But I don't know all that for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they feel pain or not. So Julie says some animals come to Earth, I think she meant to say, and the purpose is to provide sustenance for another animal. And believe it or not, and again, that we could do a whole show on this about why we're not here by accident. Why, and there is a lineup to come here with souls that would love to come here, because this is one of the most difficult places, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of this as Earth being a school. And when you're eternal and you go on forever, right? And I've heard other people refer to it, channelers talking about this being like a vacation. And don't get me wrong, it's not a vacation. It's difficult when we get here. But the reason why the channeler referred to this is, if you're going on a big trip somewhere and you've researched the trip, you've looked at where you want to go, what your budget is, what you're going to take with you, what you're going to go see. Okay, Dave, the history, you're going to pack for it, you're going to plan for it, the whole bit. That's kind of what we do when we come here. Now, I'm oversimplifying it, and our whole life isn't planned out, but each and every one of us is here for a reason. So it's kind of cool. And Julie says animals and all living beings come here for a specific life purpose. Absolutely. And the reason why it's so difficult, I believe, in what I've received from Spirit, is we come into these heavy, dense, fragile bodies. We come in with, as I like to call it, spiritual amnesia. Most of us do not remember previous lives or, any of this stuff, that some of the stuff we talk about now and much more, right? And we come here, and the way I hear we are ascending, and I believe that, but overall, in the past and pretty well up to now, the way we learn is through hard times, right? We have a choice when something difficult happens. When everything's status quo and it's amazing, we don't want it to change. And we're not going to learn. We just want it to last forever when something difficult happens. But from what I understand, we've agreed when we come here that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be difficult or hardship to be able to learn.
No, it doesn't have to be. I would say too, people always say, am I on the right path? I'm like, or, they talk about lessons. I'm like, how's this lesson going to go? I'm like, well, just make the choice. Whatever choice you make, you're going to get the lesson out of it. So it don't matter. Just do it. Just make one. Yeah.
And are you on the right path? You know what? And again, I don't know all the answers. None of us do. But I like to try and tell myself that I'm where I'm meant to be in this moment at this time. Right?
Yep.
Because you are. Yeah. That's all you have is right now. That was in the past already, that word now.
A great person once said to me, when I asked this question, I said a great, wonderful answer. There he is. Hi, sweeties. So he knows the time. He's like, they're done in like 30 minutes. I asked the question one time, am I okay? Am I on the right path? And the answer I got back was, well, where do you want to be? And that was my guide. my
Yeah.
smart ass guide, who I love to death. I said, "Am I on the right path?" He said, "Where do you want to be?" And I said, "This is where I want to be right now." He said, "No." And then I'm like, "How do I get there?" He told me. Then I went. So that's another way you can kind of do it as well as ask.
None of us are promised tomorrow, and I'm not trying to be fatalist here.
No,
None of us
no.
are, right?
No, you're not. And when you go, but your soul ain't going to tell you. So you're kind of lost at this point.
No, but where I'm going with this, I do want to give a shout out to a dear friend of mine, and I know Shannon knows her, and she passed away recently, Lois T. Martin. I've been on her show many times. It was on Blog Talk Radio. It's I've Got Your Number. She was brilliant. The minute I met her, I had 10, I said bye case and tune too. I had 2 minutes to send her a message on my previous network. And she said, "What's your phone number?" And we talked for about 6 hours. And she used to call herself my adopted mama. And I'm going to miss her so much. But again, she had been on my mind all that week. And she lives in the US. And we didn't always get to talk. When we did talk, it was always like we'd never not been talking for, say, couple months, right? When you have friends like that. Anyways, I got word that she just passed away last week, and she's going to be sorely and dearly missed. But my point is, and I'm not trying to be a fatalist again here, is we got to make the most of each day. And sometimes it's crappy. I get it. But you guys, you know what? Every day you wake up in the morning, it's a new start. And the question I like to sometimes say to people, and I don't always remember, I'm not always perfect, but I do try to practice what I preach, is if you knew today was your last day, or say you went to bed tonight, you woke up tomorrow, and you knew it was your last day, what would you do? Right? We could all make a list. And what's stopping you from living your life like that every day? Except don't go out and overcharge and max out your credit cards or something. That's not what I'm talking about, but right?
Yeah, I know.
We got to make the most out of it.
Yeah, we always have to. Kathy, go ahead. That's sweet.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, Kathy, is that the one?
Yeah. If we are to experience all things like air, fire, and other things, do we experience being an animal? Yeah.
I believe we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. My son. Well, go ahead, Dave, and then I'll share.
Oh, yeah. Just real quickly. If you think about it this way, even if you want to put it in the human terms, you're eternal. Okay. It means you've always been, you always will, you always were, it's just going to keep going on and on and on. You're just going to have fun and be doing stuff. And you've been doing stuff forever, and you've been very happy with it. And I believe that in order to progress, everything's got an evolution to it. So there's soul evolution as well, I believe. So I think our souls have evolved, or at least visited back, or found out why. I'm pretty sure I've been told that on the other side. And I will tell you, I was made perfectly clear when I was on the other side that we are all things.
We are, and we are a part of it all. A friend of mine who had an NDE explained it. She said, the only way I can explain what it feels like, and there aren't human words to explain it when it comes to the colors, the sounds, everything we experience on the other side. She said, I call it a love soup. And if you think about a soup, right, you start with all these different ingredients, cook it all down together, and say you puree it. Could you separate any of those ingredients back into what they were before? No. And she explained that's how we are all connected. My eldest son, when he was 14, he had a friend whose mom did kind of this stuff. I was doing this at that time as well, but he didn't even tell me till he got home, and it was fine. I didn't have a problem with this, but I guess she did almost like a deep meditation, light hypnosis session with the kids. And she took them on a journey, and they were sharing what a past life of what they had. And my son came home. He was so excited to tell me about his life as a wolf, as a black wolf, and what he had done and what he saw and what he had experienced. And it was profound and it was exciting. Now, if we think about that, the past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. And that's a whole show, David, I could do on that one too. But my point is there really, like, are we humanizing it? It's just a question that we think we have to evolve. What if we decide our next lifetime, I haven't been a polar bear before, and you know what? I want to change from being a human, so I'm going to have an experience as a polar bear.
Yeah, well, I stopped thinking about that stuff only because of this too. okay, like there's polar bears on this planet, but you've been in the other planets too, and they have their own animals, their own angels.
I just didn't have a name for it.
Yeah, and some of them even have like their own god type or oversoul. Ken, that's you know what, Ken, that's absolutely actually kind of true.
You got to read it, Dave. People are listening. Okay. 80% audio listening.
I always forget. You guys quit listening and come watch us. Just so you know what I'm talking about.
Don't tell them to quit listening.
No, I said quit listening and start watching. So Mr. Ken Stocula said even God is learning. And that in a sense is, I believe, absolutely true because of the fact we are God. God is us. And we are coming back here and taking all of our experiencing back. And everybody's learning everything simultaneously. So yeah, I believe so. I believe that as well. And I guess that's the only way you can put it. There's really no other place to put it.
I always say we're never going to have all the answers until we go back home ourselves. Now, I love what Nicole shared here, and I'm going to read Shannon. She's always got so much humor to add, and I love it. So Nicole says, I'm a teacher, and when my kids mess up, I tell them the next moment is a new moment. The past is a race. Let's just try again. And I think that's amazing advice for everybody in life. I do.
Yes. That's a really good one. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. A wonderful way to put it. Go ahead.
So Shannon, when we were talking about what would you do if you were told, say, tomorrow was your last day on earth, and I said, don't go crazy and max out the credit cards. And so Shannon says, I would phone the credit card companies and tell them I was about to pay them fully off if I knew it was my last day. That's funny.
Did you ever think of what if you actually sat in your chair? That might be a good meditation for somebody to do on the last day meditation. If you sat in your chair and meditated on what should I have done, or it's my last day, what should I do, and whatever you get, go do it when you're done.
Why do you think you'd have to meditate, right? Because Spirit will tell us what we have to do. Because we're here to have an experience, and we're creators and we're manifestors. So whatever we focus on and where our attention flows, right? That's where we make it become a reality. So what would you do? Like, even working in palliative care with people. And I can tell you right now, from working with super, super rich people right down to the poorest of the poor, nobody ever, ever, ever said, regardless of their age, geez, I wish I'd spent more money. Geez, I wish I'd done this, I'd done that. It was always, I wish I had told the people around me how much I love them. Also, having regrets about the things that they didn't do. They were waiting for that retirement. They were waiting to lose that last 10 pounds. They were waiting for this. They were waiting for that. Don't wait. Do it today or tomorrow. If you have tomorrow, say in the morning when you wake up, what would you do? And if you can't make it happen in one day, what would you do? Plan for it. Do it.
It's true. Do you know what? Saying after my NDE, when I heard this saying, it confused me, and it doesn't confuse me anymore because I understand people, because they, we all have this different perception. But when people used to ask me, what's on your bucket list? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, what do you want to do here before you leave? I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever I don't do, I'll just do it at another time. I'm just like, yeah. And they're like, what? They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. But then my guy did tell me, he said, they're speaking from the sense that if it's on the bucket list of Dave's bucket list. So what do I want to experience as the person, Dave, that I am portraying right now in this lifetime? Mm-hmm. And I said, can I not be Dave again? And they said, yes, but we're not you. That's what they're thinking. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, so I don't have a bucket list. I kind of, no, I don't really care.
I don't have a bucket list. There's a few things I might want to do.
But there's stuff I want to do, but if I don't get to do it, I'll be okay with it.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. If I don't get to do it, I'm not going to have any regrets. So Jackie Lane says, make that bucket list. Ken says, my mom tells me don't wait. Kathy,
no, that's true. That's true. Don't wait. If there is something you want to do, go get your butt out there and do it, man. I agree with your mom.
And Kathy says, yes, we are God. And Julie, again, seconding, well, she said it actually first. I'm going backwards, but she said, why wait until your last day?
Sure.
It's true. And on this day where we're celebrating, whomever celebrates for Thanksgiving, why not be thankful every day?
Every day. Yeah.
Because I've met so many people that say I have nothing to be thankful for. And I'll ask them, did you have a roof over your head today? Yes. Did you wake up in a bed? Yes. Were you able to have breakfast? Yes. Do you have clothing to put on? Whatever that may be. And people, nothing should be taken for granted, right? So you start with the little things, and the things that the more grateful you are, the more that comes into your life to be grateful for. So that's why, again, with Thanksgiving, it's a beautiful, not everybody's happy about getting together with family and whatever, or friends, or we've seen a lot of people today with our readings that felt they were very alone. And it's a difficult time for people right now with the holiday season, for example. We are never alone. I can guarantee you of that.
I know it's impossible. I mean, physically you might be alone, but you're literally never alone. You can't be.
Mm-mm. Actually, it's been so astounding to me, the more and more I travel along this spirituality journey, if you will, that we were never sent here alone. We have guides, we have angels. I mean, we have all access to contact all of us have these gifts. Should you desire it, you can do it. You can make it happen. You've done it probably before in many, many lives. You just like getting back on a bike. You work with different teachers, mentors, books, meditation, whatever it may be. Right. But also, the big thing for me that really, really opened my eyes, and I always say there's many in this light worker field, I find, that either understand astrology and love it and eat it up, or those like myself that understand some of it but don't quite get it all. And then I had a friend of mine on this show. Her name's Karma Turner Schott. And for the first time, I understood how incredible astrology is when she basically simplified it to the fact of why they need the time you're born, where you were born, what your name was, and what have you, because it's an exact snapshot of the sky of the 12 constellations when you were born. And when you break those down, it literally gives you a map to your soul and your purpose and everything. Never been sent alone. Never.
That's cool.
I think it's so incredible. Like, we've never been alone. And again, don't get me wrong. We'd all desire to have somebody physically around us, especially if we are feeling alone. But we really aren't. We were sent with a map. We were sent with people that we're going to connect with that will be able to help us on our journey. There's so much to look at. It's so cool when you start to really ponder it. I think it is. What was that?
No, I was thinking Kitty had his resting bitch face where you were talking.
Listen to your father. That's terrible that he said.
That's your ego. That's your ego speaking, Kitty.
I did download it. We haven't got a lot of time, but I did download some spooky videos.
Let's watch a spooky video and we'll comment on it before. That's what's going to take us.
I ended up. This one was creepy. This one was creepy. This was from last week. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me quick do Ken's doctor. Numerology as well. Numerology, actually, everything in the universe is by number. Yeah, so absolutely.
Okay, so I'll read Shannon's and then I'll play it. She said, The other day I was talking with a woman who moved to Canada. She was saying, I can't believe how many people in North America live for today. She then said, in my culture, we are raised to live for tomorrow. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Okay, so this one, I'm telling you, I don't know about if it's just me, but it seems like every darn paranormal channel.
I think there used to be that thing back in the 90s, and then they'd say, why put off today what you could do tomorrow? Because there's always tomorrow.
That's true.
And it's true.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Okay, this is one creepy video. Actually, I downloaded this week for tonight. Now, there's some history with this video, but these darn skinwalkers everybody's talking about. Now, this is, I want to see the appellations, and there was a post with it talking about that there's a bunch of rules that people don't do in this area due to the amount of quote unquote skinwalkers.
I watched this one.
Did you? What did you? Okay, let's talk about it. I won't ruin it for people. I'll play it, okay? Hang on. This was creepy. I don't know what it was, but it was creepy. So I got to start playing it, and then I got to make it bigger, guys. It says, why you should never whistle at skinwalkers.
Yo.
Whoa.
Where you go?
Whoa. Run.
Run. Go. What the hell?
Whatever.
I did. Oh my gosh. He's going to the basement.
You gotta lock it now.
Oh, I have goosebumps. Watch.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Okay, hang on. Yes. I gotta make it smaller to pause. Sorry, guys. I had to blow it up.
Yo.
Whoa.
Where you go?
Okay. So is that the one you watched, Dave?
I did. Well, that one has the full video, which I'm glad it did. But even after the short video, my opinion, that is the fakest stage thing I've ever saw in my life. It's the only because I only know it because I watch a lot of people and how these YouTubers and all that make these little scenario videos, and that one was fake. The acting was actually awful.
Okay, the
but
reason why I brought it up, though, I did do a little digging. That now there's legend and lore. How much of it is true? I didn't have enough time to research for days on this, but apparently people talk about this. Like it's almost like it's a tulpa. Like so many paranormal teams are talking about this, and people are talking about. Okay, there we go. Appalachian Mountain people. There we go. And Nicole's going to put this up here for us. Yeah. Appalachian Mountain people believe in a lot of German, Irish, and Scottish folklore, and whistling outside is a no-no from what I have learned. It also is a no-no with certain tribes in the First Nations because they too believe that bad little people, we're not referring to humans, but bad little people, you do not whistle in the woods. So
now, I'm not saying that the skinwalkery stuff was fake in that one. I'm saying the video that they staged for it is fake.
No, but that's the thing. Everybody is talking about skinwalkers, and I haven't been looking.
Oh yeah, I don't know why.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that video was fake, but if you go through the comments, I'll have to see if I can send it to you, Dave.
Oh, a lot of people believing it.
Rules with the the people that live in the Appalachians or Appalachians, I've heard it called all different names.
There's no correct way to say it. Someone's going to yell at you for it, no matter what.
I know. So forgive my poor pronunciation. I was speaking French tonight. I speak a bit of Spanish, but I don't speak Appalachian. Anyways, they were saying there's 7 things they have, but it's based on, from what I could read, a lot of superstition and a lot of talking around the campfire of ghost stories kind of things. But when you've got all these people talking about this, and it's not just in that area, like you look up, it seems in North America, this is the new Bigfoot almost, like that and dogmen, and they're constantly looking for them. Like, are we going to end up with some tulpas, kind of like Thin Man from years ago, which was a creepypasta? Now look what we got.
Yeah, it's weird. I agree with you on skinwalkers. I mean, their lore actually goes back a long way. It goes back to the Native Americans and the indigenous people. So that lore has been here forever. I don't think they were tulpas in the beginning. I think they were
talking future is when I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
To attention. Sorry if I didn't say that clearly.
No, that's okay.
I'm talking about future. Like, you know what that's why I said like creepypasta with the creepypasta Thin Man. And now we're seeing videos of it. We're seeing, and again, lots of deep fakes out there. Someone just sent me a video tonight that was not paranormal in nature. And I kept watching this and watching this. It supposedly was posted in April. And I messaged them back and said, are you sure this isn't a deep fake or AI? I am positive it is from what I saw.
What you saw.
So I don't know.
You gotta be I saw a Bigfoot video the other day. It was on TikTok, and and I'm sorry, TikTok, but I tell you, I see ghost videos or anything on TikTok, I just want to go, but I get cringy on it. But there's I had first seen it. It was on TikTok, and it took me over to YouTube where I watched more of their stuff, and it was like all Bigfoot stuff, and Although I can't say they were real or not real. They were good videos. I can't say that they're real, not real. But in every video where they got a picture of Bigfoot throwing a log, what do you think was captioned? It was always captioned something violent about Bigfoot. And Bigfoot, look at Bigfoot being violent, throwing a log. I'm like, how do you know he's just not throwing a log? How do you know?
It's kind of like goes back. I say this most seriously when I say it's brilliance, because it really is, Dave, when you shared. So maybe he's throwing a log and we're taking it as evil, but it's perfectly normal behavior. And Bigfoot.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe that's how if all we know, the reason we haven't connected with Bigfoot is because their greeting is throwing a log and we have not thrown a log back. You know what I mean? Who knows? I'm not saying, I'm being stupid, but it's true. We don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I have not come across a class in any college course that teaches Bigfoot. So
I'm looking at the Haints because I have not heard of the Haints before. Nicole's talking about the I'm going to have to do some more research, and I'm sure you guys will educate us too because you know about them. So Nicole says the Haints will come if you whistle in the Appalachians, and she said her grandmother's family was from the mountains. And Jackie Lane said, "I've got blue bottles on my bottle tree to keep the Haints away." Ooh. Have you heard of them?
I have not heard of the Haints. I'm not from, even though I live in North Carolina and I'm right next to the mountains, I grew up my first 44 years in Wisconsin. So we didn't have, our lore was real people who ripped off your faces and ate you, and dogmen and little people.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't have to doing the first thing. Oh, so Nicole says we're gonna have to do some research on this and continue.
Yeah, let's talk about the Haints next week. We're gonna do some research.
Yes, because Nicole says I painted my door Haint blue because we are almost out of time. But if you guys are enjoying the paranormal, it is the second night. It's Wednesdays and Thursdays with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano with the Outer Realm. They've got a pretty interesting guest from what I can see coming up next. So you guys want to stay tuned. Dave, where can they find you?
Oh, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, they can find me on Facebook on TikTok or Instagram under Medium David Hanzel. I have lots of followers on TikTok. So if it doesn't say over 94, it's an imposter. Okay. You can go to my YouTube is The Spirit Experience, and my Facebook private group is called The Spirit Experience by Spiritual Medium David Hanzel. And if you want to contact me, know more about me, read my blog, do anything you'd like on that, you can go to my website, theywhispertome.com. Please know that I never, ever, ever DM or private message anybody to solicit readings. You can only obtain them by going through my website.
And I don't do that either. I don't solicit people. Don't forget, I think Jonathan popped off, but Jonathan of JK47 Paranormal, it's his birthday next Wednesday. So we're going to get together with him. I don't know if we're going to do some more live ITC or do some readings or a mixture of both. But Dave, I remembered about getting together. How could I forget it was Jonathan's birthday? But we're going to do that. So I'll probably post something to let you guys know where we are. Maybe we'll just be on Facebook or YouTube, or it could be TikTok. But we will let you know where we'll be. So hopefully you guys can join us.
Yeah.
Kevin says he's anxious to rewatch. Also, I will be back with the Angel Rock on Monday night with Stephen Chung. We are going to be talking about near-death experiences. That is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you ever want to get a hold of me, get a hold of me for readings. I do mentoring. I do crystal Reiki. I do all kinds of things like that. You can get a hold of me on Facebook.com/the Angel Rock. Even if you got a show idea or a guest suggestion, we don't have guests on this show regularly, like hardly ever unless it's a special occasion. But otherwise, if you guys got some show ideas, like I'm intrigued with this about the Haint. Haints. I can't wait. We'll definitely have to look into that. Also,
I ain't never heard of those.
I haven't
so I ain't never heard of Haint.
I've got 2 groups on Facebook, Paranormal University for all things paranormal, and the Angel Rocker Tribe for more of the spiritual things. And look for us, because Dave and I, like today, we went live on TikTok. He's got a bigger audience than I do, so we usually do it on his page. So, and we try to post, don't we, Dave, when we go live?
Yeah,
Mhm.
We try. And today was kind of a little impromptu. So we did it. It was fun. We had a good time.
It was lots of fun. So
Mm.
stay spooky.
Stay
And
very spooky.
we love y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody about it. The more the merrier. We love having you here. Julie says she wants to know more about Haints. And
I'll
Kevin
research. I'll do some research.
we'll definitely do some research. Sorry, I was giving you a compliment here. Kevin said, gorgeous kitty.
Oh, thank you. You're gorgeous, Kitty. He says thank you.
That's Carmel. He's so sweet. David's so mean. He has a resting biatch face, he said. Oh, Kevin's going to research Haints too. So none of us have heard of this. I'm so glad you brought it up.
Let's all research Haints. I think that's the thing. Everybody research Haint and then send in all your stuff to Lorilei and I, David at theywhispertome.com. Everything you know about Haints.
Or you got funny video, great videos, send them. Yeah, please do. So, Dave, are you ready? Are we going to try and do it again?
We'll try.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed? Oh, big delay. We had the big delay.
I know. One of these days, you guys get it right on track. We will. So we'll see you all next Thursday. Look for us on Wednesday, you guys. We'd love to have you join us. It'll be a lot of fun. We can all wish Jonathan happy birthday too. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.